It's on,
Yeah.
not on the agenda? Okay, seeing none, we'll go to the second item on the agenda, which is a tobacco violation for Buc-ee's at 528 Buck Island Road, West Yarmouth, for sale of flavored tobacco and having items at self-serve, and it's a first offense with a fine. Bruce, do you want to tell us a little bit more?
Yes, I do. This was through a county health department inspection when they do a regular compliance check, and that happened on May 20th, at which time, when they went through, they found a flavored product that's on the Mass Association of Health Board's list. And they also found product, blue e-cigarettes that were on the counter that looked like they was for self-serve. So what the flavored tobacco was Game Blue, and as we know from talking in the past, the flavors aren't really saying strawberry, blueberry, or anything. They have colors or dates or things on it. So that was on the list. So they have not had any violations in the past. They've worked very well with us over many, many years. But this violation did occur, so it is their first offense, which is a $300 fine, which they have paid, brought in tonight. And we've worked with them in the past. They had corrected the both violations when the inspector went through. They removed the flavored tobacco and they moved over the e-cigarettes, so things were corrected immediately. We were not sure what date we were going to have the Board of Health meeting, but we did go to them, as you can see in the letter, on May 29th, the following week, and sat down and talked to them and went over the violations, so they were well aware of the scheduled Board of Health meeting here the next month in June. What we have is the owner was not able to attend tonight, but one of the managers is available to go over what their procedures are and what they do on tobacco control.
Good. Good evening.
Hello.
Thank you for being here. Would you please introduce yourself, and have you signed in there on the sheet? There should be a sheet for signing in, and that will help for the minutes and spelling names correctly. Thank you. So if you tell us your name, please, and
Rebecca Turner.
all right, and you're a manager at
Yes.
Buc-ee's?
Correct.
Okay. So tell us about these two incidents that were.
Well, the e-cigarettes were placed on a high shelf. They weren't on the counter facing out for people to self-serve. They were on a rack that is, you'd have to reach across to get them. So I didn't really see it as egregious. I didn't even know it was a violation, because it's not, they weren't like, like the candy racks, those are self-serve. They're, they can unencumbered grab things and pay for them and that. But those were, you really have to sort of reach into my space to get those. But we took them down right away.
Okay.
We're really cautious about carding people. The cigarettes are all behind us. We moved all the e-cigarettes. We put up a shelf unit behind us where they are now. And I think as far as the Game cigars go, they must have come in error when I wasn't at work. So when the kids received the order, they put the stuff out, and we didn't notice that right away. So in between receiving the order, putting the stuff where it goes, someone came in and saw those, and I didn't even, honestly, personally, didn't even know those were flavored or banned, the blue ones. I did not know that. I would have removed those right away if I had known. We're very strict on IDing, even though we don't have one of those. Some people, you can swipe their driver's license and things. We don't even have that. I just card just about everyone. And I tell the kids, you have to do that. Some of them, when they first come, they seem intimidated by that, but you see how intimidated you are when you have to pay the fine.
Right.
Or, God forbid, the store gets closed down. And we don't want that, obviously.
So your employees are the ones that sometimes put the items up on the shelves when they come in?
Well, even all those tobacco products are on a shelf, which is behind us, up on the, you've been in the store, right? There's like a platform that we stand on and a big
Right.
counter. It's behind the clerk.
Right.
So, yes, they put the boxes up on the shelf back there.
Okay. So how are you going to keep that from happening again? Because it'd be very difficult to teach them all.
We spoke to our vendor.
Okay, okay.
And said, these are not allowed in this town. Do not send them to us anymore.
What did the vendor say?
He said, okay, would do that. Tom with J. Paul, I can't think of his last name, I'm sorry.
Do most of the stores have the same vendor? I'm just curious.
I don't know for sure. Ours do, both the other Buc-ee's over by the bowling alley, that one is the same, obviously. But I would say likely
Probably,
J.
right.
Paul does a lot of them.
Right.
So,
So they probably really know in their hearts that they're not allowed in town, so.
and they don't
yeah.
have to pay any fines or get in
Right,
trouble.
right, right. So you just need to be on them and make
Yeah.
sure they're not pulling that on you.
The boss told me today, he had a conversation with them again,
Good,
and,
okay.
he said it was a serious conversation, so
Right.
we'll just leave it at that.
Well, good work with keeping the underage sales in control, and
I know
anybody.
how important it is. I do. I value my job. I have a really good relationship with my boss. We just have a great rapport. We have good help. It's a great location, neighborhood customers. I know everybody, and I want to keep that going. So
Right.
it's important to me.
Right. Anybody have any questions or comments for?
What about if they send promotional things, like things that you didn't order? Like sometimes they'll throw some promotional stuff in there that, I know that I've heard that from other stores.
Like tobacco products?
Yeah.
I've never really seen that happen.
Oh, that's good then.
Yeah, no. Maybe Aleem and the vendors have had a conversation about that, and they don't do it because I've been there 3 years
Yeah.
and never seen
Oh,
it.
that's great.
So maybe he already,
Address that.
yeah.
Great. Awesome.
How often do you talk to the other people in the store about carding and age 21 and so forth?
Every time there's a new hire,
Okay.
and I remind people, especially after this, all the time.
Is that kind of like a weekly, monthly thing that you'll?
It's at least monthly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
And, if I haven't seen someone in a couple weeks and they're coming in, I'll,
Remind them.
Yeah.
Gently. What about like a
I
correct,
don't
like
know.
in terms of
I
like,
don't know how gentle I am. People say I can be.
do you have like a
But-
corrective action policy in place? Like should something happen? Like should there be another violation? Should somebody sell to a minor or something like that?
We just, our thing is, you must avoid that. We don't even entertain that it's going to happen, period. It can't. We can't go, whatever the next phase is, we can't even go there. It would break us. It can't happen. So you just have to stay vigilant and on top of the help all the time, just,
Well, it
card,
sounds like
card,
you
card.
have, so that's good.
And you do this at both stores?
Yes,
Yes.
we do.
Good. Good.
Any other?
Even I card people for lottery. You have to be 18. I've carded people for that. If they look young, I don't care. I've gotten IDs from people that are 48. I don't care. That's my job.
I'd
and I
love
have
to get
pay
carded.
this.
So, anything.
You know what? Women do. Men hate
Not
it.
so much, yeah.
Yeah, especially men that are like 25 through 35. They get mad. But
Oh, boys.
I'll try and turn it around and say, you know what? It's a compliment. You look young.
There you go, Eric. There's your,
I would card
there's
you,
your
by the way.
chance.
I would.
Who's responsible for paying the fine? Would it be you or is it the store owner? Is it the person who?
Personally, I would feel obligated to pay it. I don't want my boss to absorb it, even though he's probably in a better financial position than me to do it. At least I would offer to pay some of it. I don't think it's fair that he pay it all. I think the young kids would just assume he'd pay it. And I personally would have a problem with making him pay the whole thing since I was the one who, made it happen.
Okay, good. All set. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you for coming in.
Take that little piece of paper and put it up on the wall.
Yeah, show them.
Yeah.
Thank you.
sir.
Thank you, Rebecca.
Good night.
We didn't have to vote? Okay.
Oh,
Even better.
no. The, we didn't have to vote for
No,
anything on that? No,
no.
okay. The next item is a discussion on the Water Resources Advisory Committee. Charlie is our representative to that. Bruce, do you want to lead?
I was just putting this on the Board of Health agenda for tonight because they do have their public outreach session tonight at the Cultural Center in South Yarmouth at 6 o'clock. Charlie's on the committee. I know he's been keeping the board up to date from time to time, and the thought was if the board members at this particular time wanted to go and get an update on that as part of the outreach. I think as the committee goes forward, there'll probably be a separate meeting with the committee and the Board of Health and Planning Board together to discuss it maybe in a little bit further detail. So it's just kind of being rolled out to the public, get some discussion going and getting ready for a town meeting. So that was it just seemed to be perfect timing, our Board of Health and then to the wastewater committee later if wanted.
So the plan is to have something ready for the next town meeting? Is that it?
I believe that's what they're hoping for.
Yeah, I might have a few ideas.
Yeah. So anything you want to add different to that, Charlie, or
I beg pardon?
you want to add anything different to
No.
the public to attend tonight to the meetings, and there'll be future meetings?
The last time I went to a meeting that they'd called, the building was locked, so I didn't get to go to the meeting.
Yeah.
But, I'll go over there right after this.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And there'll be other public meetings scheduled, throughout the summer and the fall to keep the public informed.
Yeah.
And if anyone out there can't attend tonight, like I, on the website, there is the presentation
Yes.
for tonight's meeting, and it's very interesting. It's got some good graphics and very understandable, I think.
Yes.
What's the website?
I went on,
I didn't get it through the town website. Go to,
it was with what came out, Bruce's email that had the link in it. If you hit that, open that PDF file, it will open up the whole presentation, and then you can get to the special website that
Okay.
way.
I think you can get that through the town of Yarmouth
Town of
website,
Yarmouth,
and then that
right.
will bring you to wastewater planning.
Wastewater, right. And you can also sign up for automatic updates on what's happening, which I did. Anything else? Next item is approval of the minutes for March 11th, 2019. I was not present for that meeting, so I will defer to my colleagues who were here.
I didn't find anything
Corrections?
wrong with the minutes for either one of these,
No, looked good to me.
so.
There was a lot of information that day.
Eric, you okay? Okay, could I have a motion to approve?
I move we approve the Board of Health minutes for March 11th, 2019.
Second?
Second.
Thank you. And all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Unanimous.
Yes, they were very difficult minutes.
did a great job.
She did a great job.
a
She's been
great
looking
job.
at the tape and so forth, so there's a lot of detail in those minutes. And these were the tobacco minutes where people were getting up and saying,
Right.
this is what I said and everything. So she's working on the last set of minutes that were still pending is the store up on Station Ave, which was another long technical one.
Right.
So she's listening to the whole tape again, which is, a good 2 hours to try to work that into the day, but she's probably halfway through that, so that's fine.
The next set of minutes are the May 20th, 2019 meeting. Are there any corrections or
Objections
comments on
here.
that?
No, that one looked good to me, too.
Okay, could I have a motion to approve?
I move we approve the Board of Health minutes for May 20th, 2019.
Second?
Second?
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, that's unanimous. Old and new business. Bruce, what's up?
Everything is going steady this summer. We're just starting to kick off the summer, so we're starting to see people come down, and so that's having a few trash complaints when people come down to look at their properties and their own and their neighbors. So we get a few trash complaints. We're getting more housing inquiries about rentals, so that's very business with the short-term rentals that we hear in the paper. A lot of people are either confusing us, they think they need to pay us versus the state, but at least they're contacting the health department, so we're getting a lot of new applicants and inspections, so that's keeping us very busy. We look at hiring a housing summer intern from UMass Public Health Program that's hopefully going to start up in 2 weeks. That will assist us in at least following up on complaints and follow up in the paperwork, so we're looking forward to that. So that's very busy. And with all the restaurants and ice cream places and pools opening up, Phil's been very busy on that, opening up all the outdoor pools the last week or so. So we've been steady. Septic is steady. However, there's no septic variances pending, which is good. I think it's probably been about a month or a month and a half before we even probably had a septic variance. We've had a few in-house that we've approved, no large ones. So things are proceeding fine, which would bring me into when we want our next meeting. We have nothing pending right now, septic-wise, variance-wise. Kyle Lawson, the hazardous waste inspector, has a couple hazardous waste businesses that we might look at, but they're kind of down the road to the fall. We thought we might have had something this summer, but they've kind of put their projects on the back until fall. So we don't have anything pending there. So just looking at the July schedule, obviously the first week is the July 4th week. So usually in the past, we've kind of just held one later in July. So it would be up to the board whether we wanted held it on the July 22nd, or we can even go, that would probably be, or the 29th, and then just do one in August. So whatever the board wishes are.
Okay. Any thoughts on that?
29th sounds
Whatever.
like a
If you
plan.
have something comes in, we'll do it 22nd. If nothing comes in, we'll do it the 29th.
Well, if nothing comes in, we don't want to meet at all, right?
Yeah, I would just say.
I say
we-
the 29th.
I would say the 29th. If people
That gives a
inquire,
chance
we
for
say
them
that,
to come
we
in.
say the 29th, and then I will contact the chair a week before whether we want to kick that to August.
Okay.
Usually we try to just slow it down a little bit in the
Right.
summer a little bit. But like I said, if we have septic variances, then obviously we would
Right.
come in and talk about that.
Okay.
Okay, we can,
Anything else?
no, we're good. I'm trying to look at the time, because I know Hillard was looking for a record time on this.
Okay, well,
I
we got
move-
it.
I-
think we might have it. Go ahead.
I move we adjourn.
Eric?
Second.
Third.
Okay.
What are we going to call
All
it?
in favor? Yes.
Aye.
Thank you, folks.